Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser, and I'd like to welcome you to Enter the Poserverse. Today, it's another week. My pull list is huge this week, so let's find out what books you should be reading after this.
Hey! The champ is telling you to do something! Alright, you know what? You know what? You know what just happened? Because you didn't do what he said? You know what? You know what? You just made the list!
I think I have something in the neighborhood of like 32 books on my pull list this week. Not covers, books. The number of covers that I plan on getting this week gets it to almost 40, so hopefully I've got a little bit of extra money to pick up some extra covers this week, but it's massive. So, the first book I'm picking up this week is from Aftershock. It's The Man Who Effed Up Time #5, John Layman and art by Carl Mostert. I've loved this book from start to finish. In book 4, we started to figure out why Sean from the future might want to kill Sean from the past, with a different Sean from the future that might want to help Sean from the past. He was, left in the primordial ooze, kicked a being, and ended up in a city of, bug life. So, book 4 was pretty wild, and I have high expectations for book number 5, especially when we see an image on the cover of future Sean lingering over President Abraham Lincoln. Is it Abraham Lincoln IV, one of the dictators? I don't know. But this book has been amazing. You should pick it up too, because it's a brilliant, brilliant read from Aftershock. From AWA this week, I've got 2 books. The first being Red Border #4, and I think this is the last book of the series. And book 3 set us up for a wild, wild conclusion, because they fled the creepy house where they've got the taxidermied, Mexicans or folks who are of Hispanic descent that have crossed the border. The cartel is on their tail. The people from the creepy house is on the couple's tail. We learn that somebody betrayed them, so I don't know how they get out of this. This book is written by Jason Starr with art by Will Conrad and Ivan Nunez. It's been amazing from start to finish. I think this being the first AWA title to wrap up, I want to see how big of a bang it ends on, and I think it's gonna be massive. The second book from AWA this week is Year Zero #4, written by Ben Percy with art by Ramon Rosanas. I've also enjoyed this. I really like the World War Z feeling to it as we're finding out what's happening to different people all over the world. I think I read somewhere that this has been confirmed to begin a second arc, but I want to know what happens to Bunker Guy. He, was leaving to finally chase down someone who may be interested in him. He was lured out of the bunker for the first time in a while. This book has just gotten more and more intense. I want to know what happens. I think there's this and one more in the first arc of Year Zero. From Boom Studios, I've got 3 to pick up this week. The first is not really, I don't know what a conventional pick is for me anymore. I'm reading Turtles, Power Rangers, and Transformers My Little Pony, so maybe me reading this book is not all that surprising. The first book from Boom I'm picking up this week is Mega Man Fully Recharged, or Mega Man Fully Charged #1. It's by AJ Marchetto, Marcus Reinhardt, and art by Stefano Simone. I don't know what to expect from this. I know there are a lot of people who are really, really excited about a Mega Man book. This is kind of tugging at the nostalgia strings for me, as I love playing the Mega Man games. There's a very good chance when I edit this video, the backtrack will be the Mega Man 1, background music. We'll see. But I'm excited. The covers look dope. I'm only going to get the A cover on this one. I'm not going to fall into the trap of a million Mega Man covers, because I don't have room to display them. Number 2, yep, I'm diving on into the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger pool. I enjoyed Ranger Slayer. I enjoyed the first Draken New Dawn, the new Draken book that came out this last week. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #53 comes out this week. Again, I'm only picking up the A cover, and this is written by Ryan Parrott with art by Moises Hidalgo. I don't know what's happening in either Mighty Morphin or Go-Go, so I don't know, but I was told that the Lord Draken and the Ranger Slayer events will impact what's going on in both of the mainline Power Ranger stories, so we'll see if I keep reading these or not. And the third one is Win #3. This book has been great from start to finish. I'm going to reread #2 because it was in the midst of a pile of unread stack that I've got to play catch up on. but it's another indie home run from James Tynion IV with art by Michael Dialis. From DC, I've got several books coming up this week. First is the much-hyped Batman, The Three Jokers. There are a billion covers for this one. There's a good chance I get both the A cover and the B cover. This is written by Jeff Johns with art by Jason Fabok, and I believe Fabok did both the A and the B cover. My man Wes from Comics The Gathering said that these books are really good and he can only see the intensity going up for each of them. I'm also a sucker for the DC Black Label books, so I know they've got to be of decent quality. The next is Batman Superman number 11. I've also enjoyed what's been going on in this book. It's the best of both characters for me in terms of watching them take on villains from both the Batman and the Superman universes. This is written by Joshua Williamson, who I also love, and I think the other night when I was talking to the guys from Comic Burrito and Wes on their Saturday night stream, I learned that Williamson is coming off The Flash to write the Justice League. So I don't know what's happening with him, but I am converted to Williamson, and this is my first of 2 books that I'm picking up from him this week. First of 3. The second Williamson book that I'm picking up is The Flash number 760. The battle between the Legion of Zoom and, both sides. Are they playing into the Reverse Flash's game? Are they finding a way to shatter the mold? I'm excited to see what happens in this one. And then the last DC book is Legion of Superheroes number 8, written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Doc Shaner on this one, so I think that's got to be pretty cool. I like both the A and the B cover on this one. The A cover is by Ryan Sook and the B cover is by Dustin Nguyen. And I really like the B cover, so I might just get that one. But again, I've been collecting or picking up all of the A covers on the Legion books. From IDW this week, I've got 4 books that I plan on picking up. The first is Canto 2, The Hollow Men. This is the first book in the second Canto arc. I really like the one-shot of this book. Kevin from 1-2 Comic Talk turned me onto this. It's by David Brewer, and the art is by Drew Zucker. So I'm intrigued to see, since I didn't read the first Canto arc, does the one-shot set up the story arc for the second? Am I going to feel like with maybe Dead Body Road, Bad Blood that I'm going to have to go pick up the first arc? I don't know, but I'm excited to check this one out. The next one is Lock and Key in Pale Battalions by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. I like that we're seeing some new Lock and Key titles come out. No, thank you. Loved the Netflix series. I liked all 6 volumes that I read in trade, and I'm excited for more. The third book from IDW is Sleeping Beauties number 3, which is by Rio Euchers and Allison Sampson. I was confused when book 2 came out because it wasn't billed as written by Stephen and Owen King. And I learned from somebody at work that Sleeping Beauties was a book written by the father-son duo, and the comic is the adaptation. So didn't know that, but I'm excited to watch what happens next with the virus who's going after women. And then the last, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 108. I mentioned when number 107 and the annual came out that Brony finally persuaded me to pick up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he was not wrong. In the same way that I apologize to making fun of Burke for loving Power Rangers, I apologize to Jabroni because of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm going to keep reading this book because it's the last thing that I remember him recommending before his untimely passing. From Image, I have 7 books that I'm picking up this week, and I think this is more than any other publisher. But first is Bliss number 2 by Sean Lewis and art by Caitlin Yarsky. I like the idea of Bliss number 1, of this trial of a father, being convicted or tried for murdering a bunch of people, but you find out that he started working for like a criminal undercircuit to help his son who had medical issues. And like Oscar and Chris from Lawson Comics, I'm a sucker for a father-child relationship story, and I want to see definitely what happens in this book. The next one is Dead Body Road, Bad Blood number 3. This is something that I picked up number 1 and 2 when the second book came out at the heavy recommendation from Todd of the Comic Burrito. This is by Justin Jordan and Ben Tiesma and Matt Lopez. I want to see what's happening. We're watching the woman whose bar was burnt down in book number 1 get ready to go full ham, that she's now revisiting the past she swore she would never return to again, and I want to see what happens. Next up is Family Tree number 8 by Jeff Lemire, Phil Hester, and 2 or 3 other people. I'd pull a copy of Family Tree, but Midtown just says various after Phil Hester. we start to figure out in book 7 what is happening in the world of, like, did the trees take over, and the man we met in book number 1 is fighting the trees, but we learn that he's protecting it. We start to understand a little bit more about the family connection to the trees and the arboreal takeover, and this has been one of my favorite books that I only hear a handful of people in the YouTube chatter circles or on social media talking about. It's something that y'all should be reading. That this book is fantastic. The book that is going straight to the top of the list, the book that I am definitely buying both the A and the B cover, is The Triumphant Return of Philadelphia. Number 7 drops this week, and of course we all know it's by Rodney Barnes with art by Jason Sean Alexander. I want to know what happens in the next arc. I'm going to binge read the trade Tuesday night before I pick both of these up again. But this has been my book of the year since I've read it. Every time I've picked up the next issue, each issue ratchets up the intensity, and I want to see what happens now that Adam's plans have been foiled at the end of the first arc. But I'm really, really excited for this. And I'm picking up the A cover, which is a regular Jason Sean Alexander cover, and the B cover, which is a variant by Scotty Young. And it's cool because it's not the traditional cartoony Scotty Young cover, but it has those feelings with also kind of the grit and gore of Philadelphia. The next book is Nailbiter Returns number 4. I just finished reading 1 through 3 this week, and it's fantastic. I want to know what is happening now that we've definitively learned the fate of Nailbiter from the first book. We are starting to find out, we're starting to learn the MO of the new serial killer who's kind of taking everybody on, where the copycats may be coming from, and I think the team of Williamson, Henderson, and Gzowski are just delivering a killer that is as thrilling as the original Nailbiter. Next up is That Texas Blood number 3. I was sad that number 2 didn't have more casserole dish, but I got over it. This book by Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips is a good read. We're starting to figure out why the town might be fairly suspicious of the brother that has come back to investigate the murder of his older brother, and I want to watch this crime arc play its way out. The book that's vaulting up second in the reading list is Unearthed number 7. This is a book that I've been waiting a long time for the next arc to begin. This is by Cullen Bunn with art by Kyle Strahan and Baltimore Rivas. For as much as I love Rogue Planet, which I'll talk about here in a few seconds because it's coming out this week, this is classic Cullen Bunn horror. It's some kind of being that is now consuming people who were investigating it from like a military establishment, but it's good classic horror. The art by Rivas is breathtaking, and after Philadelphia, Unearthed 7 is next. From Marvel, I've got 6 books that I'm definitely picking up, and 1 or 2 that I might wait on, so it might be tied with Image. But the first is the Daredevil Annual that is coming out. It's by Chip Zdarsky with art by Manuel Garcia and Chris Monaghan. I don't know what's going to happen in this annual. I don't know the role that annuals play all the time in some stories, but since the new arc just kind of started, and it's written by the person who is writing the main arc, I'm excited for it. I'm a big Zdarsky fan. The book that I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up or not is the new Fantastic Four Antithesis. It's by Mark Waid with art by Neil Adams, and I'm an occasional Fantastic Four reader. I'm going to go back and reread the description of the book and figure out if I'm going to be interested or not. But I might give Fantastic Four a chance again. I'm just not sure. New to me, but came out digitally a while ago, is Ghost Spider number 10. I think it's funny that this is still labeled as the Outlawed tie-in because I think that event got canceled in the midst of COVID. So if it's, I read Outlawed number 1, so I'm at least in tune with the kids superheroes bad vibe of that. But it's written by Sean McGuire and art by Iguara. I like Ghost Spider. I'm a big, I've enjoyed this series. My son and I have been reading it, especially when the first trade came out. So I'm excited to keep getting these issues back in my hand. Finally, we hit the pile of X-Men books that I'm still behind on that. I think I have about 2 inches of X-Men books to read, and I keep saying each week that I'm going to read it this week, and this week I'm going to say it again because I really think I need to read them this week as we're getting closer and closer to Ten of Swords. But you've got Hellions number 3 coming out, X Factor number 2, X-Men 11. Those are the 3 books in current continuity. And then the 4th X-Men title that I'm going to pick up is the X-Men God Loves, Man Kills reprint Part 2, but it's not just a regular like True Believers or dollar book. It's reprint with new art, which makes it definitely worth picking up, you know, a classic Chris Claremont X-Men tale. From Oni Press, Rogue Planet number 4 is coming out this week by Cullen Bunn and Andy McDonald. I've enjoyed the first 3. Cullen Bunn Space Horror is dope. All of the random sacrificial and like drug stuff that happened in book 3 and the addition of the new like rescue crew makes me wonder what the fate of both sets of these people are on this planet, but I'm very, very excited as well. There are 2 books from Scout this week. The first is Grit number 2 by Brian Wickman and Kevin Castanero. I know that my girl Nat, who's at Gin and Something, is very, very hyped about Grit number 2. I've still got number 1 to read. It's on my two read stack from my Scout box. I got that really cool bumpy variant of the cover, so it's on my list to catch up, so I can definitely read this one when it comes out. But the right kind of people who share opinions with me, you know, some of my closest friends in the comic book internet universe are very excited about this book. And the second Scout book this week is White Ash number 6. It's by Charlie Stickney and Connor Hughes. I think this is the end of the first arc. When going back and forth with people from Scout on Twitter, I learned that White Ash, the comics that have come out, is different from the White Ash Kickstarter that came out, so I might have to go back and compare and contrast things. I'm currently on White Ash number 3, so my goal is to be able to read the rest of them by Wednesday. And the final book of the week for me is from Vault Comics. Engine Ward number 2 comes out. It's by George Mann with art by Joe Eisma. I really liked the universe that got built in Engine Ward number 1. I liked the idea of the celestial heroes, or like the constellation heroes, or astrological signs, the gods being set up at odds with like the citizens in the kingdom that they control. I know there were a lot of people who were kind of cool on number 1 because they thought it was too heavy in the universe building, but if number 2 delivers for me, then it's going to be solid. But if it's still a bunch of world building in the second book, then I'll kind of, you know, look at everybody who was like, why'd you tell me to read this? And I'll go, yeah, you're right. But I'm hoping they pull it off. I think it's going to be a dope book, and I'm very excited. That's a lot to read this week. 32, maybe 33 books, plus a bunch of variant covers that I'm actually excited to chase. My stack is going to be huge. So when asking if there's anything that I missed coming out this week, you're gonna have to persuade me what I should get rid of in the name of what I should pick up. So I'm interested to see if there's anything y'all think I missed. I'm interested to check out everybody else's pull list videos to see if there are things that I should definitely drop in terms of, you know, trying to get this below 30 books in 1 week. But it's definitely time for me to revisit my pull list and see if I need to do some more Marie Kondoing of titles, because I'm picking up like the size of my pull list in 1 week with all of the indies that I've gone back and added that I fell in love with after COVID. So let me know down in the comments what you think. You know, if you want to know how I feel about them, hit that thumbs up, give me the subscription, you know, ring that bell. I'm on my march to 500 subscribers. I think I'm just about at 350, and I'm planning an epic giveaway once I hit 500 YouTube subscribers, because I've hit my 500 Twitter followers and growing. I just hit 1,000 Instagram followers over the weekend. And now I'm, you know, excited to grow the YouTube channel some more. And once I hit that benchmark, I've got 3 big giveaways planned for each of the platforms. And as I continue to grow on Twitter and Instagram, what I will be giving away for both of those is just going to continue to grow until I hit 500 on YouTube. So if you want to see this epic giveaway that I've got planned, then, you know, share this video with your friends, you know, subscribe, all those things. And hopefully Ainsley hasn't been too loud in the background playing because she's, down here. So, as always, thanks for stopping by, and have a good one.